On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Things are starting to really shape up. Things are getting interesting. The deep state's definitely backed into a corner, and things are kind of falling apart in a weird way. We are in a transition. It's maybe sometimes hard to see, but if you really kind of break apart the little bits, the little victories, and you start to see that they're little mini failures that are happening, it's all indicative of this transition. It's a transition. This isn't a single election that we're fighting for. This is significantly larger than that. I think most of you guys feel it in your bones, frankly. We got a lot to talk about. Also got a classic rock show going on today. I hope you guys are going to enjoy that. We're going to be doing 70s and 80s classic rock. Have a very good lineup put together for you guys. In fact, might have to start a little early, and I have no idea about the show following. Frankly, at this point, I have zero idea. But I've got well over an hour of music. We're going to figure that out when we get closer to showtime. So check that out, please. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, or 5 Central, if for some reason that's needed. Here we go. We're going to get started. And let's kick this off first off with a great message from Kate Awakening. She's We the Media, I believe, that's her. All said, she wrote a really beautiful kind of statement that I think speaks to all of us. I think speaks to the larger picture. And I think is a big giant pat on the back to you guys, specifically, my audience. Never undervalue what we've done here on the digital battleground. Without social media and all of us who question things and unrelentingly shared pictures, videos, and concepts challenging the official narratives, imagine where we'd be right now. If people were still relying on the MSM for their information, where would the general understanding be on Pizzagate, as one example? I know for myself, before going down the rabbit hole of information laid out by others in the digital space, I would still believe it was just about an unhinged conspiracy theorist shooting up a pizza place. I never would have read any of the emails myself because they never would have been shown to me on my TV. Without the diligent work of truth seekers on the internet, how many would still be buying the official story of 9/11? If we only had Fox, NBC, CNN, the New York Times, NPR, etc., what would any of us know about Hunter's laptop, Spygate, Uranium One, Benghazi, Seth Rich, Anthony Weiner's laptop, the Steele dossier and the Russian collusion hoax, the Clinton body count, migrant caravans, or rigged elections? How deep would our understanding be on the Epstein scandal, and how long would it have stayed in the news cycle? Would it ever have been reported on at all? Would any of us have seen the video of Hillary being hoisted into the SUV like a side of beef? Would you know anything about ivermectin, HCQ, or any alternative treatments or cures? Would the reaction to COVID have been the same? Would there have been as much pushback on masks? How would most people still view the vaccines, and how would we still be under lockdown? Or would we still be under lockdown? Sorry, covered itself up. Would the average person know what a deep fake is or have the foggiest idea of the extent of AI capabilities? How much would people be questioning anything they see or hear? What would the public perception still be on the media? And would anyone still be talking about fake news? It's not just about the memes and the shit posting or moving the needle a little. We have collectively completely changed the trajectory of humanity. Never forget that. I'm praying this interview with Trump and Elon on Monday is the catalyst to bring Trump back into the public square, along with the tens of thousands of his supporters, narrative questioners, and truth tellers who are depersoned from this platform. It will be a massive turning point. I don't know if Trump wants to come back on there. It kind of defeats the purpose of Truth Social. I don't think people understand that. Him posting on Truth and then it gets shared everywhere. So the fact that he's doing the interview on a X is super awesome. I think all these people that are waiting for him to come back on that platform maybe kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it'd be silly of him not to. I'll say that. I mean, he was on TikTok, and I thought that was a weird idea. So who knows? We'll see what he chooses. But all in all, pretty beautiful. And you guys actually made that happen. That's all you guys. So supposedly, I don't know, this is Jack Posobiec's putting this out now. So we've heard Trump say it. We've heard Jack say it. It's come out in a few places right now. But huge chance Biden steps down by the end of September to give Kamala another honeymoon before going into the election. Now, this is a different angle, right? We had heard Biden wanted back into the race. Curious if that's the case, but now we're hearing the possibility of him stepping down by the end of November so they can try to ramp up another excitement phase for her. It's going to be very interesting because it's going to create a whole slew of other issues. And I don't know if this is going to go as the way they planned, because we are destroying her credibility for sure. Certainly the vice president dude, Walls, that dude's unreal. We got a little bit on that coming up too. Here's Trump thinking that actually 75% of the country is MAGA. Not Republican, not Democrat, MAGA. Because he's acknowledging the fact that there's a lot of people like me that aren't in a party that are 100% on board with MAGA. 100% on board with MAGA. So I think Trump's calling out the real numbers. And MAGA's going to support Trump, for sure.
A lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base. And I think the base is 75% of the country, far beyond the Republican Party, because we're a party of common sense, and I'm a person of common sense. I want to have low taxes. I want to have strong borders. I want to have a strong military so that China and Russia, look, they've allowed China and Russia to do the impossible combined. They're natural enemies. They always have been, because China needs more land and Russia has it. They've always been natural enemies, and because of Obama, it started with him, and then Biden, because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, they've now become one force. And then now they're adding Iran to it, and they're adding North Korea to it. Pretty powerful force. This is something that is unthinkable that they allowed to happen.
Not good for the country by any stretch, and obviously a lot more than just the fact that we're 75% of the population. We've got a couple more things coming from Trump, not just yet, but that's going to be coming up. The Global Alliance for Responsible Media, they have decided to discontinue activities. These are the people that were strong-arming, if you will, advertisers into not advertising on places like Rumble, Truth, X, all those places. Because of the lawsuits, they have decided to discontinue their activities. Isn't that interesting? I'm still wondering if they can be sued for damages, though. That would be curiosity. But the group was under fire for antitrust violations after they had orchestrated ad boycotts of both platforms using their monopoly. The House Judiciary said this was a big win for the First Amendment and a big win for oversight. The House committee brought questions about GARM, that's that group, I forget what it stands for, it doesn't matter, their monopoly on advertisers and their use of monopoly to influence online speech and hearing. Also along the lines of Elon Musk, though, kind of in a different direction, he says the rise in prices, or inflation, which is what it is caused by government overspending, which increases the amount of money faster than the increase in goods and services output. That is the vast majority of our problem. Inflation was particularly bad during the COVID years, as there was a massive government spending despite productivity plunging as people were forced to stay home. This is further exacerbated by the excess regulation, which prevents the market from solving an unmet need, example housing in high-demand areas. Occasionally, there is a monopolistic behavior by companies, but this is relatively rare and usually only possible if those companies have gained control of their industry regulator. Again, a government, not private sector problem. Now here's the thing, government spending money like mad, we're spending it because we're going in debt even faster and faster. Government needs to be reduced, unquestionably. It's the only way this is actually going to start to improve, and that doesn't start happening until well into Trump's term. Well, maybe not well in, but certainly into Trump's term. Here's the thing, a lot of people think that the economy is going to make it and they're going to crash it after the election because once Trump wins, they want to make it look like it's his fault that the economy collapsed. It's not going to make it. It's a teetering top right now, right? You take a little top and you zing, spin it up and get it going. Well, when it starts to slow down, it starts to wobble, right? It starts to wobble. That's where we are. That's what Monday and Tuesday were. They were wobbles. We haven't fully got it back. It kind of came back, but we're getting a good taste of how this game's played. We're getting a good taste of the sheer problems the economy's facing right now. Interest rates are entirely too high. The Fed can't bring them down because it will cause inflation to go through the roof. But if they don't bring them down, a bunch of banks aren't going to make it. We're in a tough place. I'm going to tell you what, one of the solid best investments right now when it comes to just whenever the economy goes to crap and you got high inflation like we do right now, precious metals have always been the answer, always. They're one of the answers anyway. Right now, the other typical answers aren't really doing well when it comes to value because the government, again, printing things so fast, printing money so fast that it's causing the value of things to actually fall, meaning it's costing more because inflation's gone up so much, but the value actually isn't added. And so from a value standpoint, you're actually losing value. You're losing buying power. And that's where the problem lies. Well, with precious metals, that's not the case. Right now, precious metals have been doing very well. In fact, when the stock market was taking a hard tank, gold, silver sitting right where they were. Actually went up a teeny bit. We're sitting in precipice-changing times. If you're in an IRA or a 401k, and you're backed by stocks and you're backed by the dollar, you're probably actually invested in all sorts of companies that are most likely going to be some of the ones that are going to take some of the next hits. Monday was a warning, guys. That was the warning shot across the bow. For those that hopefully can see what's coming and get out beforehand, you're going to be stoked. Because as the buildings are crumbling down around you, you're going to realize your building's still standing. It's because you're invested in a precious metals-backed IRA. You can get out of your 401k IRA tax-free, penalty-free. It's a sideways, let's try that word, sideways shift. Tax-free, penalty-free. It's literally physical gold stuck in a trust. That's how they do it. And then you just move it on over. And you are no longer attached to stocks, and you are no longer attached to cash. You're now attached to precious metals, which many currencies are backed by. We're talking about bricks getting backed by it. Silver is actually underrated because it's used in a lot of industries, such as making solar panels. So there's a lot to be said about what's coming, probably. Can't guarantee it, but what we do know, just statistically, especially since March, it's up a lot, almost 45%. Precious metals are doing extraordinarily well right now. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You don't want to wait until your stock's worth less to try to get over, because that's less money that you're going to try to move. And you certainly don't want to wait until precious metals prices go even higher, because then you get less for the money that you actually have. Again, it's that value thing. You want to get out of your system, and you want to get out sooner than later. Every day, you're losing money. It may not look like it, but you are. Inflation is the silent killer that gobbles away. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system. Seriously. And if you've got some cash lying around and you want to get some precious metals, I also highly recommend checking out Goldco. I'm a customer as well. And they've sent it right to you. It's a beautiful thing. drslikesgold.com. They've got some of the best customer service out there. You got questions about this whole process? Ask. They're there to answer them for you. 4 data points, and if you actually qualify, you got a chance to get a 1 ounce silver Ronald Reagan coin. It's actually 0.9999% pure. It's a beautiful coin, gorgeous coin, in fact. And just saying thank you for reaching out to us. Of course, if you qualify, you've got to have a qualifying IRA or 401k. If you've got that, then you've got a coin coming your way. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. And that is certainly what their intention is, that's for sure. All right, so we've got some stuff here. I'm going to try to do my best to play this. I think this one's good. I haven't actually watched these. I watched the longer version of this video, and I think this is 2 snippets of it, I'm hoping. But all said, there was a cop that was lifted in the air to show the shooter. And as soon as he got his head up there and the body cam footage was with it, and that's what we got, he freaks out and gets down, because he realized, personally, I've watched it kind of once on this part, and I couldn't see the shooter. There was someone that freeze framed it, and I'm like, I still don't see the shooter. So, I don't know. He's supposedly in there. I'm having a hard time seeing him. That's probably just because I'm retarded. It happens. All said, here is like the first part of the video, and then we've got a whole slew of issues running around them in the parking lot trying to organize themselves and realizing they didn't have communications with Secret Service. They didn't have direct communications with Secret Service at this event, at this area. Let me just say that one more time. They did not have direct communications with the Secret Service. This is an enormous failure on so many levels. This dude had already shot at President Trump, and yet these dudes were running around still trying to get him, even though this anti-sniper guy supposedly shot him pretty quickly after Donald Trump, after his 8 shots. There was like a 10-second pause, and then at least, or it sounded like at least 1 shot, I think 2. Pretty sure that was the counter sniper popping his head like a zit. So all of this seems weird. But anyways, we got some new info. Let's check it out. Yeah, this is the one that's quiet. And then eventually noise starts happening again. So I'll just try to talk over some of this. But it's like, yeah, hoist me up, man, hoist me up. So supposedly right up here, again, this guy's got a gun on the roof. He hasn't shot yet. There's, I think, reportings or sightings of something on the roof. So he pokes his head up and supposedly sees the shooter. I don't know if we ever... Yeah, I don't know if I could even come close to glancing at it. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, and then he's like, takes off running, right? I'm just trying to add sound effects. It's kind of like a lot of the movies. right? Like, gotta have stuff hitting. All right, that's what they do in movies, anyways. So he's at some point he ends up at his vehicle. I don't know if he's trying to find him or whatever, which seems like a dangerous move considering the dude's got a rifle. He's like, "Hey, run over here! Shoot me, man!" I don't think he's saying that, of course. It'd help if we had noise. So yeah, he apparently was recorded by a deaf person. This is what it would sound like. Very good sight, though, right? So this is where he goes back to his car, grabs his firearm, some AR-type platform, looks like anyways, at least the way they just charge it. So yeah, this is an interesting little time they had here. And I don't know why this guy, his body cam footage doesn't have any noise, but enough said. So right after that, and this might actually start right when he's getting in his car and the sound actually starts. And so you can kind of see the chaos. And that's also, I don't know, kind of weird. Like, no drones in the air, right? No ability to quickly find him. No eyewitness. Like, this is failure after failure after failure after failure. It only looks like, I mean, I'm surmising that the only way this is actually possible is from the top down, making sure that they had inappropriate protection this particular day. Though still odd that there was a counter sniper because, of course, they needed to make sure that this patsy was removed. Can't have a patsy talking afterwards, can you? Might have talked about his buddies and who was nudging him in this direction. All said, here's them running around like crazy people.
I need an ambulance to the back of the building.
Get them out of here! Get them out!
Yo, Blasco! Yo, you about to hop up. He's laying down. He's on our next building over. Right after the gap. He's got glasses, long hair.
Need a ladder. She's gonna hole.
Yo, Mike. I climbed the wall and I popped my head right in front of him, bro. He's got a book bag. He's got mag, AR laying down.
He's got full kit.
Yeah, he's laying down, prone out, book bag next to him.
Give me a fucking hard line.
Most sections over here. Most section over here. That's why I got columns up there.
But watch out, because he can come right down on you over there.
Oh, this is gonna drop. Hold. Keep eyes on. Give me a ladder. No, eyes up. See that map?
Bruh.
Follow the ambulance to the stands.
Keep eyes up. Eyes up.
This building, he was on top of this building, the left one. I jumped up.
Go by the yellow crane. This is a very serious.
That side, the first
very
one.
serious.
That one, laying down. There's a gap in between you and there.
Hey, can you get an ambulance to the VIP tent?
Let me see your hand! Let me see your hand!
Yeah.
We have a unit on the roof.
Affirmative.
You kind of get the point. I probably overlong as it is still, but they took forever to, again, I'm not trying to say they shouldn't have. This is just how poorly organized this was. They had people that had better lines of sight that could have sort of been a voice from God, if you will. They didn't have any of that. These guys are kind of running around blind. You could tell they didn't know who and what was where. Nobody shot off a drone to try to figure it out. Like, this whole thing was a major, major failure. Reps Jim Jordan and Tom McClin talked to demand information from Mayorkas and Blinken on Asif Merchant. He's a citizen of Pakistan with ties to Iran who plotted to assassinate President Trump. This guy ran around. He supposedly got into the country. I think the FBI was letting him through. They charged with plotting the Tehran to assist Donald Trump. They gave him special permission, which is known as significant public benefits parole, even though he was flagged on a terrorism watch list. They still let him come in and cruise around. The FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force interviewed Merchant, fingerprinting him and inspecting the contents of his electronic devices when he arrived at George Bush International Airport in Houston, but then let him leave with the special parole that expired on May 11th, the memo state. Now, maybe they were trying to figure out what he was going to do. I mean, it's entirely possible this was on the up and up. The dude did not get away with shooting Trump, but we don't have a lot of faith right now in our systems either. So any sort of presumption that the government's innocent is long gone. Long gone, in fact. So, yeah, people are coming out of the closet and acknowledging how certain content creators on the left, a lot of them are being asked, not all of them are doing it, but the truth about what's actually happening is coming out. Here's a bit of a little discussion around some of these left-leaning TikTokers that are trying to lie about Biden, and people are going to figure this out.
People like Harry Sisson, there's people like Parker, there's people like Tommy, all of these page shields that they work for that exact company, Palette Management. Palette Management essentially just manages these content creators and pays them to do whatever they want them to do. Where does Palette Management get its money? From the DNC. So the DNC takes money, funnels it from ActBlue, right? From ActBlue donations. So ActBlue donations go to the DNC. The DNC then puts this money into influencer campaigns like Palette Management, which then tells them what to say, what campaigns they want them to spread, and then people like Parker, Harry Sisson go on to propagate whatever narrative the DNC wants them to propagate for an X amount of money. Which is why you saw Harry Sisson cozy up to Joe Biden till the minute he dropped out, and then 30 minutes later after he dropped out, he was his biggest defender, saying no, he has to stay in, blah blah blah, and 30 minutes after he dropped out, he went and endorsed Kamala Harris already. These people don't say what they mean. They are straight propaganda.
Everybody that's not on the inside of this hates being lied to. Nobody likes being lied to. Those obviously that are on the inside know that they're being lied to. They know that they're supposed to be telling lies, so yeah, that doesn't bother them nearly as much because they get the game. Here's a Twitch streamer, this guy Faze, I guess, Faze Ronaldo or Faze, I don't freaking know what the hell his real name is. He's supposedly really popular, but he's calling out this nonsense on the left and is like, I don't want anything to do with it.
But I will tell you one thing. Yo, Kamala Harris, stop hitting my team, you and the Secret Service, to do a stream. I am not doing a stream with any politicians, bro. Yo, Secret Service, stop hitting my fucking team.
Look for the sub.
I'm not doing any stream, bro. Stop.
Yeah, he feels like he's mastered in the art of speaking slang. I'll give him that. Here's Jesse Waters playing side-by-side videos of Kamala's rallies where she repeats the same practiced line over and over. I wonder if it's that one. We'll find out.
So good to be back in Michigan. Listen, let me tell you, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds and had a summer job at McDonald's. I had a summer job at McDonald's. So hear me when I say, Detroit, when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. And are we ready to fight for it? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win!
Kamala's plagiarizing herself and Trump. I thought fight, fight, fight was his line.
That was actually pretty good on Waters' part. Well done, sir. Well done indeed. So who is Kamala Harris? Just one big thing that they kind of want to point out in this article. She was very involved in the state, in the Browns here in California. Got brought in about that time. State Assembly. He was Speaker in 1980s. Mr. Brown was Willie Brown, the infamous. He considered himself the Ayatollah of the Assembly. In 1996, he was elected mayor of San Francisco, right? So the demise and fall of that city, it began right around there. Serving 2 terms, along the way, he attracted the attention of the FBI, which repeatedly investigated him, but failed. The FBI may have failed, but Brown had plenty of critics. The legacy of William Brown has been one of corruption and incompetence in the government, and the FBI probes were a reflection of that. By 2004, Brown was on his team limited way out of office, but one of his key allies, Kamala Harris, was on her way up. Harris was elected San Francisco District Attorney in 2003. Brown had put the formidable political machine behind Harris, swinging a come-from-behind election her way. It was not the first time Willie Brown had given Kamala Harris a helping hand. The two dated in 1994 and 95. In 94, Brown appointed the then obscure county prosecutor to 2 influential state commissions, the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and the California Medical Assistance Commission. Harris' political rise was launched, elected DA in 2003 and 2007, California Attorney General in 2010 and 14, United States Senator in 2016, and then Vice President in 2020. Now, questions persist about what Harris may have done for Brown and his allies. The investigative journalist Peter Schweitzer noted in a recent interview with Breitbart that in her first DA race, Harris ran against the incumbent prosecutor who was investigating corruption allegations against Brown, and when she won, Schweitzer said, she dropped a whole series of cases connected to Brown. The biggest case, Schweitzer said, involves an 800-page document from the Diocese of the Catholic Church in San Francisco detailing accusations of sexual abuse linked to individuals and entities with connections to the Democratic Party. But when Kamala Harris came in, not only did she not prosecute anybody involved in the scandals, she actually refused to release the 800-page document, and it has been reported in San Francisco that document disappeared and never was to be found. Those are serious charges that raise serious questions. What cases were dropped when Kamala Harris became San Francisco DA? Does she appear in records of the FBI investigation of Willie Brown? What became of the San Francisco Diocese investigations? Where is the 800-page report? Judicial Watch is investigating these issues and other matters linked to Democratic Party power brokers in California. People are slowly learning the truth. That's the important thing. Now, also interesting, Harris' campaign website scrubs Walz's rank, escalating stolen valor scandal that's going on. So she removed that from their site where they were talking about how he was, in fact, a higher rank than he really was. They said he was a retired command sergeant major. Not true. It's been a lie. They've been pushing a lie. That's, again, called stolen valor. So this is a huge scandal. They've now removed it from their website because they were, in fact, pushing it. Now, in all honesty, she probably asked him for his bio, and he gave a shit bio, and they didn't bother checking it or whatever. We'll see. Vigilant News kind of made a really funny little comparison. So we're going to kind of go into this a little blindly. I'm not going to read this entire thing. It's a crap ton of words. But this is a stance that a group is taking. One might think it's MAGA. I'm going to nudge you in that direction, but it's not going to end up being true. We call for a revolution in government to take power away from entrenched bureaucracies and narrow interests in Washington. We call for restoring the basic American values that built this country and will always make it great. Personal responsibility, individual liberty, tolerance, faith, and family, and hard work. Our party's first priority is opportunity, broad-based, non-inflationary economic growth, and the opportunity that flows from it. Here's where they're ripping on someone very specific. We'll get to that in a second. The current president, with no interest in domestic policy, has given America the slowest economic growth, the slowest income growth, and the slowest jobs growth since the Great Depression. I think this was intentional, by the way. I think this president, we'll get there, intentionally did this. We know he's one of the most deep state presidents ever. And I think he intentionally did this to push things in the direction they ended up going. I think this was always on purpose. Continue. We reject both the do-nothing government of the last 12 years and the big government theory that says we can hamstring business and tax and spend our ways to prosperity. We believe in free enterprise and the power of market forces. We must also tackle spending by putting everything on the table, eliminate non-productive programs, achieve defense savings, reform entitlement programs, yada, yada. Governments don't raise children, people do, yada, yada as well. The empower America's communities. We pledge to restore government as the upholder of basic law and order for crime-ravaged communities. Who was this, one would ask? No, this was not MAGA. This was the 1992 Democrat platform. They were, of course, referring to George Bush Sr. and Reagan prior to that, but I think George Bush Sr. intentionally handed things off to the Democratic Party. Intentionally, or let's call them the deep state. But did that not sound like what we're saying now? And is that not completely opposite of who the Democrat Party is today? I find that to be fascinating. Paul Ingracia put this out. Pennsylvania election integrity official. We haven't had many changes to our election law since 2020 because our legislature enacted a new code that is ambiguous and extremely complicated and difficult to interpret by design. The rig is baked into the cake in Philadelphia County, the meticulous handiwork of Josh Shapiro. The Democrats are working around the clock in the Keystone State, aided by Shapiro and Philadelphia's Mayor Parker, to ensure voter fraud tilts Pennsylvania in Kamala's corner. The people running our elections want the Democrats to win and Trump to lose at all costs, no matter what. State Rep Devin Seba was arrested, accused of hitting a cyclist, probably was buzzed. They're looking into it. This was a Republican. Just saying. I just like to make sure we call out everybody for who they are, because they definitely should be called out when they're making mistakes, right? So I don't know if he's a good guy, bad guy, whatever. He hit someone on a cycle and then I think kept going. Not cool. So yeah, 9 p.m. at night, like I said, probably was drinking. Good news here, for California especially, and for the rest of the nation. A fed-up California Democrat state senator has revealed she is jumping ship to the Republican Party because now former party has become unrecognizable under its current leadership and policies. State Senator Marie Alvarado Gil, a longtime Democrat, broke news of her defection late Thursday, saying the values she shared with the Democrat Party when she was elected in 2022 have now shifted. I'll bet you we'll have some other people that will move in these directions as well. We'll see. Here's Donald Trump speaking about Glenn Youngkin in the not-too-distant past. Kind of interesting foreshadow.
Now he's going to restore common sense to the governor's mansion, and Glenn will be great on jobs. He'll be great on your taxes and keeping them low. They're going to raise them through the sky, and he'll make Virginia really the envy of the world. You'll watch.
He absolutely will make him the envy of the world. And here we are showing Glenn Youngkin. He's put some really, really powerful changes in place to make sure the elections are safe in, where is he? Virginia. Check it out.
Well, Sean, call me crazy, but I think American elections should be decided by American citizens, and Virginia elections should be decided by Virginians. And that's why this executive order is so important, because it does make sure that we have clean voter rolls. It makes sure that votes are counted accurately, and it recognizes the fact that elections need to be trusted by voters. And that's exactly what we're doing in Virginia. I mean, this is going to be the most important election of our lifetime. We're going to see the future of America determined, and I want to make sure that Virginians know they can trust this election process.
I'd like to be able to say that we can all trust this process, right? Wouldn't that be great if we could actually trust this process? If any of us could? Well, at least Virginia's heading in the right direction. House subpoenas DHS for records on shady backroom deals that set up migrant camp at Floyd Bennett Field. The Republican-led House committee, they issued the subpoena to the Department of Homeland Security on Friday, demanding records about the shady backroom deals. The House Natural Resource Committee compelled Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who's been impeached, to hand over the documents after his agency repeatedly blocked congressional inquiries and failed to even acknowledge others about the shelter for 2,000 migrants on the shore of Jamaica Bay. And also, for anybody out there that says when I said Alejandro Mayorkas has been impeached and you're like, but not in the Senate, just remember, a lot of those same people are the same ones that said Trump was impeached twice, but not in the Senate, right? So, tomato, I don't care. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Vigilant News put this out. A pair of Trump allies are launching a new organization aimed at preventing the Chinese Communist Party from taking American institutions, as the Daily Caller has learned. Former acting director of national intelligence in the Trump administration, Rick Grinnell, and former New York Rep. Lee Zeldin are launching the Protecting America Initiative, which will work to support state lawmakers in passing legislation to limit the CCP's growth and influence in America, according to a press release obtained by the Daily Caller. Hopefully, they can definitely do that. That would be rad, right? All right, we got some Trump news. Here's Trump kind of getting a little pissed at a fake news reporter. One thing that sucked about this interview, and I watched the whole thing at his press conference, which was awesome, by the way. It was very good. He gave good answers. I mean, nothing groundbreaking per se, but really, really good. Gave some really good answers to really tough questions. But a lot of times you couldn't hear the questions at all. It was sort of sucky in that regard, but it is what it is. Here's some of this.
And there'll be a peaceful transfer. I just hope we're going to have honest elections. That's all. Okay?
You have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there's enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot and because I'm letting their convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country because our country's never been in this danger before, both economically and from an outside perspective. Russia doesn't respect us anymore. China doesn't respect us anymore. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, liked me a lot. He doesn't like this group. We are in great danger. We're in great danger of being in World War III. That could happen.
Yeah, and we got retard press right now that don't talk about stuff. It's been days since we've heard from Kamala. Here's Trump saying some other great stuff. It's about 3 good snippets out of there. It was like an hour plus long. It was really good, though. If you get a chance to watch the full thing, it's definitely worth it.
Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference.
All right, we kind of repeat on that a little bit. All right, fair enough, fair enough. I don't want to play that twice. Just at least that same part anyway. Dan Scavino put this out when they talked about, hey, do you want to get rid of AR-15s because you were shot by an AR-15? His answer was cool. Check it out.
AR-15 gun at all changed your impression of people's access to that weapon?
No, I didn't. Look, if you take away guns, she wants to take away everyone's gun. If you take away guns, you can't do it because people need the guns for protection. Now, entertainment, they want it, hunting, they want, different things. But they need weapons for protection in this country. People live out in the woods and they're not going to have a gun. If you look at it, some countries, I don't want to get them in trouble, but some countries have actually gone the opposite way. They had very strong gun laws, and now they have gone the opposite way, where they allowed people to have guns, where in one case they encouraged people to go out and get guns, and crime is down 29%. And remember this, what is the toughest gun law in the United States? Chicago. On July 4th, 117 people were shot and 17 died. The toughest gun laws in the United States are in the city of Chicago. You know that.
So he's 100% right. I mean, you take the strictest gun laws that we've got, Chicago, right? And yeah, some of the most shootings, even compared to like Afghanistan and stuff. Like, it is horrible. So this concept that the guns are the problem is kind of silly. I know there's a lot of countries outside of here that think that way because they've got a very simplified way of looking at this. Gun culture is very much a part of our history. I started shooting when I was 5 or 6, 22 long rifles, shooting cans off a fence. It was awesome. Love it. Fond memories of those days. And I've shot a bunch since, and I love it. It's good times. It's just part of our culture. Do I ever hope to use it in defense? Hell no. But I've got it. If we ever have an October 7th, I'm going to be less worried about it than probably some of my neighbors. I'll say that. Definitely some of my neighbors won't be either. We might be back to back someplace, but we'll figure it out. It's a culture here. There's something strange about it. So when you take away legal people's guns, what you do is you allow illegal guns to reign supreme. Special counsel Jack Smith and President Trump's attorneys, both sides, are asking for a 3-week extension in this federal 2020 election subversion case. It's interesting. I don't remember when it was supposed to go to the next level. 3 weeks, the fact that Trump's asking for that and Jack Smith is, I don't know, interesting. It's only going to put it closer and closer to the election. Maybe that's what they're hoping. But so far, every single movement they've done has helped Trump. So I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, again, desperation. Do they not realize that this is going to happen? Strange. I don't know. Whatever. We're living through it. It's a lot of good times. Trump tells Breitbart he's going to solve the Ukraine-Russia war before he gets into the White House and after he's president, like elected president, and before he's actually in the White House, he will end that war. Which is another way of saying that is to Russia, and Russia knows this. They know it. You need to get all your shit done, and you got until I'm elected president. And Russia's like, cool, plenty of time. Plenty of time. I can make this happen tomorrow if I have to. They're very efficient, those Russians. They are. Man, don't mess with them. I look forward to when we can all get along, frankly. I got some great Russian friends. I got some wonderful Ukrainian friends, believe it or not. I actually know some people from Ukraine. Super wonderful people. Love them. They're in this country, by the way. Used to work with them in IT. And I got people like China. I know people that are Persian. I don't know any North Koreans, I'll be honest. I know a few Koreans, but I don't know any North Koreans. Maybe one day. Who knows? Kind of cool. But we're in I just like to remind people, I guess this is my stupid point here, but it's the deep state we're at war with. We're not at war with a country. We're not at war with a certain people. We're not at war with a race. We're not at war with any ethnicity or group or religion. We are not at war with a people. We are at war with the deep state. It's a very select group, and there's certainly very specific individuals that make up that group, and they are bastards, and they will be taken down, and their days are numbered. I don't want to try to name them because I honestly don't know who's a puppet and who's pulling the strings. I mean, I have an idea of some of it, but meh. Trump agrees to do the ABC News debate with Harris. This is kind of a funny news story. I want to tell an side story on this if I can, but we'll get the story out of the way first. ABC News apparently agreed to a new terms or whatever with Kamala and Trump. September 10th is the date that's supposed to happen. Now, what was funny is the initial story I pulled it was from some group that I didn't saw referenced from another dude that I generally sort of trust. I'm like, man, you guys suck. But they put a story out, this group. It wasn't an official group. It was just some dude or whatever. And they go, Trump's going to be debating on Fox on this date. On NBC will be on September 10th. And ABC was going to be like the 25th. And I'm like, then I get this story from ABC going, yeah, Trump's going to do the debate on ABC on the 10th, and I've got this other source that actually says it's NBC on the 10th. So I'm like, well, whether they did it on accident or whatever, you're wrong. ABC's not going to lie about the date of their debate, right? So anyway, there's a story running around that shows him accepting all three. I could not find any confirmation of that, and that story disagrees with ABC's story of the dates, or the date, at least of ABC. So, anyway, just saying, take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes it's tough. There's a lot of news out there. I had a tough talk this morning. Tough. Oh, this was cool. Vivek is just on fire, and I love what he's doing to help. I love how he's helping. I love the fact that there's so many, like Kash Patel's another great example, and there's a bunch of them, Grinnell, I mean, just all these guys. But I love how many people get what is happening, understand what's happening, and are literally intentionally doing their part. And I don't think a lot of us, even these guys at this level, I don't think they're told what it is that they're supposed to do. I think many of us have figured it out. And that's the key. That's the difference, too. It will be a huge difference when it all comes down to it. Needless to say, here's Vivek doing a bitchin' job at what he's supposed to be doing.
But I want to be respectful of the conversations I've had with President Trump. But what I will say is, what he and I are aligned on is it's not going to be something of small impact or modest impact. It's going to be something of seismic impact, and that's what we're rooting for. My passion in my presidential campaign, and it remains my passion today, is not how do you reform the administrative state, not how do you tinker around the edges of a regulatory state, but how you actually get in there and gut the regulatory state. How you get in there and actually shut it down. That's what this country requires. And there's a path to doing that, a requirement to do that through the executive branch. There's also real groundwork that needs to be laid legislatively as well, through the Senate and otherwise. And so I think both paths remain open, both paths are important. I think President Trump and I are going to pick the one for my next step. Certainly I'm going to pick the one for the next step that has the biggest impact on the country.
And by the way, one of the key reasons, and a lot of people, just key people disagree with me, and that's fine. I mean, who am I, right? Some dude just doing my best analysis as well. But the Brunson case, the reason why I don't think the Brunson case is going to work is because it's so extreme. It requires essentially holding people, one, to their oaths of office, which I don't know how much case law there is that defends that, but whatever. It's a big deal when you're actually nailing out like Supreme Court justices and all sorts. Like, that's never happened ever, and that would be an enormous shakeup. Now, a lot of people out there are like salivating, going, yeah, that's what we need. I get it, but you kind of forget that there's like the rest of the country that's going to have to sit there and watch this happen and somehow support it, or they're going to freak out and run out in the streets, which isn't what we want. But what Vivek is talking about is probably, and makes the most sense pathwise, as far as what people can stomach. And that is, with all the crap that's happened to Trump, when he's in office and the executive branch is able to legally move through things and justify and show the sins of others, and then actually have these people punished through regular law, I think it'll be more acceptable. And people are going to be pissed. There's going to be a lot of people that are still going to protest, if you will, but not nearly to the numbers of just going in there and like literally pulling the rug out from underneath Congress. Which, again, I agree with the Brunsons. I completely do. And I completely agree with the case. But I don't think there's any way that could be sold to the public yet. So again, it's just one of those things. It's funny. There's some very distinct people that continue to push the Brunson. I just don't think we've got I don't think people are willing to bite off that piece just yet. Maybe we can nibble it down or cut it a little further or something. I don't know what to tell you, but it's way too grisly at the moment. FBI and private meeting with Trump revealed new details about his would-be assassin, sources are saying. Trump's, that at least I can find at this point, has said nothing. This is based off of August 9th at 1:15 p.m., some private meeting that somebody's supposedly leaking information to, ABC News. Now, the thing is, and why I share it, because normally I'd be like, it's ABC, but they don't really say anything. Supposedly he got more information about the would-be shooter, which is funny too. I think they said that here, right? Okay, thanks. Does that forward the ball at all? Was it a side lateral that they almost fumbled, or was it actually a pass and thank God, or what was that? I don't even know what the hell that is. Still curious. I don't know. Got some weird stuff going on around the world right now that you might find interesting. Starting off, just I guess with the bad news. I don't really believe it either, or I feel like this is being used to try to scare people. So I don't know. Let me preface that first. Iran is better positioned to launch nuclear weapons program. New U.S. intelligence assessment says. U.S. intelligence assessments also stated that the Steele dossier was correct, also stated that Hunter's laptop was fake, also stated a lot of stupid stuff. So, And many say that's the thing they're going for right now, is we can't trust anything, can't trust anybody. Now, I disagree with that. I would couch it with that many of us are learning discernment. That's what's happening. Discernment's not taught in school. Discernment is one of those things that I think you kind of come upon, or you find somebody that realizes you've seemed to got it, and then they kind of let you know that and then sort of help you fine-tune it. Discernment's a beautiful, powerful thing. You have an internal compass, an internal guidance, an internal source that's beyond compare. Stronger than anything they have. Anything they have. The key is just learning how to use it. It really is. We'll get there. We're getting there. It is happening. Some of this is just being turned on automatically. Some of it's because they're not able to do some of the programs they've been doing. There's just a huge number of things that are at work. Ultimately, my job is to help lead you through this. Like I've said before, we're all watching a movie. We're in a movie theater right now, and I'm one of the dudes on the, with the little flashlight. I'm just trying to help you find your seat. You need to find the bathroom because you finally figured it out. Cool. Hey, it's right down this way. Right? Well, where's my seat? Yeah, you're right over there. Don't want you to get lost. Stay plugged in. It's a good movie. Doesn't matter. I'm here to help whoever and however. I am. I know a lot of you are too. But this is, I don't know, it's kind of weird how this all plays out, right? So be scared, be scared. Now, some of the good stuff that's come out, which I'm kind of pretty excited about. Smartmatic president indicted on bribery, money laundering, election scheme. 4 of them got busted. This, of course, is our good friend Smartmatic. I'm going to show you a slide here in a second that's going to kind of piss you off a little bit. At least it's supposed to, in a good way. Sometimes piss off can do good things. Fear, I think, is very debilitating. I dislike fear. I do not find it motivating. Anger can be. Anger can actually be directed in a very positive way, so it's kind of fun. Also, Smartmatic president indicted on bribery, money laundering, election scheme. There is a grand jury that happened down in a Southern District of Florida, and there's 3 executives of the election voting machine and service provider Smartmatic, as well as a former chairman of the Commission on Elections of the Philippines. So this is all in the Philippines. Philippines had this little deal going on, and what was happening is they're essentially charging extra money for the voting equipment, and they were taking that extra money and slush funding it on the other side with these 4 people. They were all getting a little piece of the pie. And this was so they could get Smartmatic and probably other systems into the Philippines elections. And there's been a lot of question around the last couple elections for sure in the Philippines. I don't know if they're better or worse, same. I get it from my girlfriend, and I just don't think she's as connected. Like, she just doesn't ask questions. She just, frankly, I'm always asking her, like, well, did you ask so-and-so such and such? And she's like, no. And I'm like, fuck. Why wouldn't you? Like, that's the number one question you would want to ask. She's like, I don't know. It's all good, right? So I don't think she knows shit. I love her dearly, but I don't think she knows shit about what's going on in the Philippines right now. But all said, she is the Hermana Mayor. For any of you guys who are Filipino out there, she's all stoked on that. That's all she talks about. She's excited about it. All said, we've got a little problem going on with their elections. A lot of questions about some of the stuff that's happening, bong bong, and all the other things behind it. So many stories I've heard. All said, this is a powerful little moment in time where it seems like this company has gotten busted doing something that we know they've been doing. These people also, by the way, have direct ties to Venezuela. The 3 dudes, direct ties to Venezuela. Yeah, which is, again, where Maduro is right now, I believe, right? And all these things are starting to come crashing down because they were controlling elections through software that I think is not working properly, because there's been a few places where I know they're using software and yet they still don't seem to have been able to cheat properly. I've had a few of these elections have played out like this. So I kind of feel like there's a little bit of the white hats sort of figuring out their business, not really saying anything about it. So we'll see. Again, there's a lot of factors, a lot of ways at work. They're not going to make noise about that at all. They're never going to tell the public they're doing this because they don't want the deep state to know for sure they're doing this, and they don't want them to be able to get around it. So we're not going to hear about a lot of things, but we've got help. People are working towards it, and we're getting closer to the elections, and that's really where a lot of, I think, the crazy stuff's going to happen, like what Youngkin did, that kind of stuff. It's all going to be happening close to the elections because we don't want to give them time to court their way through it, like, right, sue or whatever. We don't want them to get around it, passing some other new legislation to get around it. Like, we don't want them to have time. We want to be able to fix what they've been doing, screw with their manpower. Like registration's one of the biggest ones right now. We got to get all these illegals off the registrations, all of them. And so that's the kind of stuff, and it's happening in places. So Smartmatic is a member of the CISA's EISCC group. Now, I had to look this up because I had friggin' no idea who that was. That is the Election Infrastructure Subsector Coordinating Council. Yeah. Anyway, they're part of CISA's little thing. What's weird is who's in here. Just to name a few, okay, there's a bunch of companies listed that are part of this same group. Associated Press, Clear Ballot Group, Crosscheck, Democracy Live, Democracy Works. These are just 2 names that should throw off flags in your head immediately. Democracy Live and Democracy Works. Okay, that's Democracy Cheats. I think that's the LLC that they're both under. We've got Dominion Voting Systems, Electech Election Services, Inc., Election Systems and Software, Electronic Registration Information Center, ERIC. Everyone Counts, of course. That's why we bring in the illegal people that don't have a legal vote, that literally will silence legal voters. Everyone counts except you guys that vote against us. You guys don't count for shit. Microvote General Core, PCC Technology, Pro V&V, should have heard of them. Runback for sure, you should have heard about. They're highly part in Arizona. They print almost all the ballots in the nation. They're very much a part of this. Seidel is another company we talked a lot about right back after the elections. SLI Compliance, another. Smartmatic, there you go. We've got, 10X Software Solutions, Unison Voting Solutions, Votech, Votem, and VR Systems. I think I left off like 2. These are all some of the worst controlling companies that we know of. All in one cool little EISCC group under CISA. This should freak us all out. Kinda. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you, but you get it. Then, CNN, I think this was updated January 29th of 2024. So the beginning of this year, mostly. Pro-Trump network OAN execs may have engaged in criminal activities while promoting 2020 election lies, Smartmatic alleges. Today, the 9th, CNN, same people. Smartmatic executives charged by Justice Department in alleged Philippines bribery scheme. I like how it's alleged. They got busted for it. Charged, anyways. Oh, yeah, they still get their day in court, I guess. That's cool. Venezuela's Maduro kind of helps convene that one. He blocks X's access in the country for 10 days. Europe's talking about blocking X's access. How funny that you're not allowed to speak the truth. You can't handle the truth if you're in the Democrat Party. You can't handle the truth if you're a socialist, and you can't handle the truth if you're a communist. Why? Because the truth undoes everything that they're trying to do, which is control people. Freedom lets people live how they're supposed to live, set some sort of boundaries here and there with laws and stuff like that, but ultimately gives you the freedom to do a lot, as long as you don't go treading on others, right? Fuck around and find out, as they say. Don't do that. But the Democrats, no, they must be controlled. They must be put into a compartment. They must be told how to think and say and what to do. So their lifestyle is not okay with truth. So big surprise that they're taking it out and making sure people can't talk freely. Mexico's president says if Vladimir Putin attends the country's presidential inauguration, they will not comply with the International Criminal Court's warrant and will not arrest him. Just the fact that they're saying that is confusing to me. Like, first off, you don't need to say that publicly, or second, are you saying it publicly because you're planning on arresting him? I don't know why Putin would necessarily show up. I kind of think it was meant to be sort of a stab in the eye to America, but I don't think it would be wise of him to show up, right? Especially in the middle of a war. He's like Trump, man, and they want him dead. So I don't know if they're trying to goat him out into the public or what. I don't know. But, I mean, Mexico's not exactly the safest country in the world. All things said, I doubt Putin's going to go in person. He'll probably send somebody. Crazy plane flight. This is out in Brazil for sure. I'm drawing a blank on the city name. Does I have it here? Crashes in Veneto, Brazil. Anyways, a Voo Pass Flight 2883. This is really sad. I mean, but the way it goes down is weird. What it looks like to me, and it's really hard to prove, and I don't think I could zoom in, but it looks like it lost part of its wing. Probably close to where the aileron is. Look like it maybe just snapped off. The way it's falling makes me think that's kind of what happened. But this plane doesn't survive this by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, not good. Everybody on board died, unfortunately. Again, very bleak, sad. I don't know what happened. Looks like the plane broke. Must be Boeing. But this is very, very sad. Actually, dude at the gym, it's Brazilian. I work with a bunch of Brazilians. Just great people. Love them. Love the Brazilians. Portuguese is such a beautiful language, too, when you hear them talk. It's just got such a fluid sort of... It's like Spanish without the edges. I don't know. It's just weird. It's kind of graceful how it slides off their tongue. Like, bless you, instead of like salud, it's saúde. Like, it's just That's about one of the only words I know. We'd cheers all the time when we'd go out. But saúde, it's like it just flows. It's friggin' gorgeous. Anyway, here is something that I never thought I would hear in my entire life, is someone of some sort of like adult level individual, first off, second off, in a place of sort of power or like high up the food chain that is just incredibly stupid. I'm going to say he's stupid. I know he's saying what he's supposed to say, or else they'd probably chop his testicles off or kill his child, but I'm just going to say he's stupid to make it easier because that's far less crazy, right? Either way.
That we have said from the very beginning, if somebody is presenting us scientifically a solid system how to identify men and women, we are the first ones to do it. You know, we do not like this uncertainty. We do not like it for the overall situation for nobody. So we would be more than pleased to look into it.
How funny, because the boxing community actually did a test. You might want to talk to them. They seem to kind of have an idea of what you're talking about. But they had a test and actually test whether or not you're an XX chromosome or an XY chromosome. See, it's one of those funny things, like just historically, a lot of dudes like blame their wives, back in the olden days specifically when we were stupid, but they'd blame their wives for not being able to give them a daughter or a son or whatever the hell they were trying to do. But ultimately, it's the dude's responsibility. You're the dude shooting the variables. She's got 2 X's. She's providing an X. I guarantee. You, on the other hand, though, you've got the variance. You as a man have the X and the Y. Now, these people, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but yeah. It makes me think of that tic-tac-toe song for some reason. I got the X and I got the O. It don't matter when you tic-tac-toe. Pretty stupid song, but I don't even know. But 12 of you probably knew it. Huh? Now I'm a little bit older. I like the thing just a little bit bolder. No? Stupid. I have problems, guys. I can't help it. It's the way my mind works and the way music's been in my life. I am not going to play this whole entire thing, but I actually did share this with my contact over at MyPillow, and we are going to do MyPillow advertisement today because of this. But I'm going to spread it, and this is what I told them. I said, you got to be able to run with this. This is awesome. But I doubt that they're going to have, I don't know. Mike might. I don't know. We'll see. But here's the thing. Here's the headline. CNN correspondent says Mike Lindell's pillows are now helping to subvert American democracy because he's advertising with all of us. Again, they're trying to control who can talk about his products. They want to cancel this dude beyond all words. Now, again, as I've said frequently, and this is why I think this would be something they should wear with pride, democracy to the deep state, or to who's in charge, means mob rules, means they can decide to destroy you regardless of your rights, because they want to be able to force you, based off of a mob, out of business. That's what democracy is. We have a republic. We have a republic for a reason, and that means we have rights, and it doesn't matter. You need 2/3 of you need to vote in order to actually try to get rid of or make an amendment. It's extraordinarily hard to do. So a mob cannot force you to lose your rights. So them going after Mike Lindell, I think, is extraordinarily jacked up. So here's the thing, guys. You got a little bit of coin and definitely need, you're like, dude, I've got 18 sets of sheets, Dan. Well, they got some towels, too. They got toppers. Have you tried the topper? Topper's great. If you got a mattress that's more than 5 years old, you should consider a topper. They've got a few of them, but this run they've got right now that they're kicking, dude, $99.99 for the queen. That is super cool. Super cool. But again, anything over $75, free shipping. Over $75, free shipping. Got the original MyPillow, $19.98. I love that pillow. Love it. And not only is it a superior pillow to all pillows ever made, I'm sorry, bud, but it's even better than your second one, I think. And it's an awesome pillow. Doesn't have the cooling technology, which I will admit is super awesome. If they were able to put that pillow, that stuffing inside that cooling thing, now we're talking about a friggin' pillow. That's MyPillow Phase 3, right? I don't know, whatever. I got to talk to them about 3.0. That would be a delicious pillow. We should all have one. But this pillow is amazing. I love it, and it's super cheap. It's awesome. You should put them in all your rooms, and then $5 extra for a king size. Bitchin'. Plus, they've got towels of very varying size. They got beach towels. They got a 6-piece towel. They got your dish towel sets. They got a lot of different kinds of towels. $25, $25 all over the place. Huge savings all over the place. Normally $60, they're down at 25. Normally, right? $40 for the dish towels, down at 25. The normal pillows, regularly 60. It's going to never happen like that again. But yeah, 1998 is insane. Great stuff. We've got pet beds. We've got the slippers still at $25. Blankets of every kind, throw blankets, side blankets, top blankets, bottom blankets. I don't know all the names for blankets, but they got a bunch of them. They got pet blankets. I know that one. That one's cool. And the pet beds and the beach towels, like I promised. And actually, a really good coffee. I drank it when I went to his last Lindell event. I drank this the entire time I was there. I was drinking it black. I don't normally do that with coffee. I like cream and sugar a lot. It was delicious, though. It was delicious. And I'm a coffee freak. Now, part of it, too, I will say, is every time I've gone to Mike Lindell's events, the two, and they've been in the same building, and they are extraordinarily cold. It is the most effing cold building I think I've ever been in, almost as bad as the Dallas airport the night I had to spend the night there. That sucked balls, too. All said, you don't care about all that. You care about getting a better pillow and getting a better night of sleep and getting some free shipping over $75. Get a few things. Help the guy out. They're trying to label him a bad guy. Here's the thing. He's brought such a great product to the people that forever I'm grateful to Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell's been awesome. He's been a great partner, and I love his products. I got a bunch of them, and I've paid the same price you guys pay. Pay the exact same price you pay. I buy them through my coupon. You go to exactly mypillow.com/OTF. That's what I type into the computer, and I order, and I pay right there, and boom, get the same deal you get, and I'm happy with it. So OTF, that's your coupon code. Check it out, mypillow.com/OTF, mypillow.com/OTF. Help destroy democracy with me, because we're a republic. That's why. Not because we're a democracy and that's a horrible thing. No, we're not a democracy. We're a republic. Help me destroy it. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. I know it's not a good marketing ploy, but God, I hope Mike Lindell can go for it. I don't know. We'll see. He has to almost, or at least acknowledge it. They're trying to stop this. I'm so pro. Right, whatever. I'll see what Mike Lindell does. I know it's going to get to his attention. I know that for sure. I know people in high places over there. American First Legal just secured a preliminary injunction in their lawsuit against the Biden-Harris CDC for illegally deleting employees' emails. Oops. The National Archives and Attorney General Garland must now work to recover illegally deleted records and make CDC comply with their law. Now, wouldn't it be funny if we find out in hindsight that there was some sort of weird retention plan that maybe the CDC wasn't aware of, or something, where they were, oh, no, that's cool, we've been doing this thing, we just kind of do it secretly because we don't really want people to know we're doing it. So yeah, we've got backups of all that stuff. So, yeah, watch the look on their faces. Hillary Clinton too, when that one comes. In fact, there was an interview that had Trump that I watched. He talked about it, I think, in that whole long interview, the hour-long thing that I played snippets of. Talked about how Hillary, why didn't he go after her? And he actually said he thought it would be bad for the country, and then it turns around they go after him. It was a good interview. You guys seriously should watch it. COVID-19 falls to the number 10 cause of death in the U.S. Woo! Guys, well, seriously, if you think about it, that's pretty rad. And they're going to have to come up with a new one. I don't know if monkeypox is above COVID yet. We'll see. But it's number 10. That's pretty cool, right? Of all the ways to die, this has fallen. We've made a lot of pride, guys, or progress. Yeah, let's try that word. Pride, not a good word. No, it's been ruined for the most part, right? We should have pride, but we shouldn't be gay pride. Well, it's tricky these days. Tricky. Nothing's easy anymore. Just don't do skid marks on a rainbow sidewalk. I don't know anymore. Very confused. COVID-19 falls, number 10. That's fantabulous. And finally, FTX ordered to pay $12.7 million to customers and fraud victims, they're saying. Considering how much money they stole, it doesn't really seem like a lot. Now, granted, they have to kind of, I think, take this money from existing customers that haven't been stolen from to be able to pay customers that have been stolen from with the same pot of money. So I feel like this isn't necessarily, it's like you're kind of eating your own tail, kind of, aren't you? Whatever. They've been ordered to pay $12.7 million. My bad. Instead of giving it directly to the customers, the lawyers get 2/3 of it or some crazy amount in a class action lawsuit. Yeah, always good. Yeah, class actions are fun as hell. I'll be honest, every time I get the class action things, I shred them. I don't even care. I'm like, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be on record of that. And who knows? But you get 4 cents for the $100, that you lost in the deal. Never seems to work out well for the actual people that have been cheated. Bastards. It is what it is. Guys, I hope you're ready to do a live show with me here in a couple hours. Going to be doing some awesome rock and roll. It's not going to be a couple hours when you finally see this. It's going to be a couple hours from my standpoint. But 3 p.m. Pacific, going live. You guys should check it out anyways. It's going to be a really good block of music. I've got some great stuff in there. We've got, I got The Doors. I've got, I think, an AC/DC song. No, do I? No, I got some Aerosmith. What else do I got? I got a whole bunch of crap. You're going to have to come check it out. I got a bunch of stuff. Some great Journey. I got Foreigner. A whole bunch of stuff. Blue Oyster Cults. Oh, good tunes are in there. And the final song is one of the coolest renditions of a Pink Floyd song that I've ever heard. Like, it's the normal version of it's really epic, and I wanted to play that, but then I found this secondary version, and the way that, I think it was Waters, I don't know who it was, I don't know if it was, which one, but the way they started it, and then when they play with their guitar while they're talking that's how you know what song they're about to, it's epic. You guys are going to dig it. So please check that out. Got a lot happening. Musical Spotlight. Check it out on the Fringe. And then, of course, I want you guys to know we're in this shoulder to shoulder moving forward. And I'm here with you every step of the way. I'll help every way I can. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.